Hey class, all right, welcome back to day 2 of week 16. I can't make a 6. Week 16. All right, yesterday we talked about a little bit about what happened after Reconstruction. Today we are going to talk about Jim Crow laws, okay? So even though the Civil War did result in freedom from slavery, African Americans were still not treated as equal citizens. We've talked about that before, how even though they were freed or emancipated from slavery, society still kind of clung to those old ways, and they still were, African Americans were still having a hard time getting treated equally in society. In fact, in the late 1800s until about 60 years ago, really, Alabama had laws called Jim Crow laws, which sounds crazy because I know some of your grandparents are in their 60s. So if they lived in Alabama when they were younger, maybe they remember this, maybe they were too young to remember this, but I'm sure that they probably heard some stories, so you might want to ask them. These laws said things like African Americans and white children could not go to the same school. African Americans had to sit in the back of the buses, and they had to give up their seats if whites were standing. They were not allowed to ride in the same railroad car as whites, and they couldn't use the same restroom, water fountains, restaurants, pools, playgrounds, or public libraries as white people. So you can see where this whole not being treated equally as citizens thing is kind of coming into play here, because none of this is fair. The Supreme Court said it was okay to be separated by race as long as both races had equal facilities. Well, you can probably guess that African Americans' facilities were not anywhere close to equal for those for white people. Okay, their bathrooms tended to be smaller and dirtier. Their water fountains tended to not have clean water or cold water. Their pools were not kept after. Their playgrounds were not kept after. Their libraries did not have the choices that they did, and their schools were not as good as the schools that white children were allowed to attend. So in no form or fashion was their facilities equal. It would take several years and a lot of court battles to get rid of Jim Crow laws and finally provide equal rights for all citizens of Alabama. And like I said, that was really only about 60 years ago. So it really was not that long ago when you really think about it. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up today and talking about Jim Crow laws. And tomorrow we're going to talk about all the different kinds of industries that were in Alabama after Reconstruction. So I will see you right back here on your computer screen tomorrow. See you guys.